All right, where it's 10:01, can't open the meeting. Um, Unfortunately, Yano couldn't be with us today due to another appointment, but he has received, and we did discuss the abatements that we'll be talking about later on today. So I have his input should any discussion, come up about these. On the agenda, signing of documents, that's actually after this meeting. Feel free anytime by the end of the week to come in and sign everything we talked about.
I can stop by after this meeting.
Beautiful. Plus whatever Kirsten has prepared to sign for department stuff. So launching right into abatement applications. I'm just going to talk from the spreadsheet that we sent around, and let's give it a whirl. My cursor in the right place. R1, basically it was a correct the number of baths and the room count. We made the change, abating 11,500, and the total amount abated is 141.68. Pleasure of the board.
Fine. Yep.
Move to approve.
Next one, number 2. It's a 2-family in, shall we say, less than average condition. Inspected the property, changing the condition from average to fair, and the kitchens and baths from average to fair. It results in an abatement value of 84,000 and an abatement of 1,034.88.
I'm fine with that.
Victor, do you need a motion to approve on every one of these, or can we just leave it as we're going to approve it unless we raise an objection?
Yeah, I mean, just give me a thumbs up on them, and I mark it on here as 2, 0, 1 absent.
Yep.
You got my thumbs up.
Yep.
Next one, C1. This is a commercial condo unit on North Ave. For some reason, it has a recurring vacancy. And typically these in an income approach, I build in 5 or 10% vacancy, but this one is, an underutilized property. So I'm recommending a 20% income adjustment that gets the value in line with what the income actually shows. It's actually higher than what the income shows in the property, but that's about as far as I'm willing to go with an adjustment.
Okay.
The abated value is 113.6, and the total abatement amount 2,727 cents.
I'm fine.
I'm fine with that too, Victor.
R3, basically, I've addressed this property before, and I probably didn't address it well enough a couple of years ago in a prior abatement because the value kept creeping up. Basically, I changed the functional obsolescence a bit for the layout of the property and missing improvements. The areas of the second floor of the property are not finished. So that's why we come back and took another look at it. And basically recommending a reduction in value of 89.3 and an abatement of $1,100.18.
It's not under renovation or anything, right?
No, no, for the current living situation, this is what the owners have decided and kept in place.
Okay.
That's fine.
R4, we had the condition as good to very good. I'm changing it to average to good. Results in a reduction of 44.3 and an abatement of 545.78.
Fine with that.
I'm good.
R5, Recommending denial. A development company purchases the property. It's a non-arm's length transaction. They raised the property, but it was, everything was standing as of January 1st, and that's the assessment.
That's fine.
I'm good.
A personal property one. This one closed the count prior to fiscal year 2022, recommending a full abatement, which is $9,280 in value, and the total amount is $220.59.
I'm good.
I'm fine with that.
Next one are six. This was one where the house, there's basement ledge in the basement that we already compensate for, but the house overall, we had an average condition. It's in fair condition.
Okay.
It results in an adjustment of 28.9 and an abatement of 356.05.
I'm good.
Next
That's
one are seven. Just a change of the grade from a C+ to C. It just seemed, like I said, a little overvalued compared to other similar type homes in that area, and come out a little bit on the high end when I looked at other sales of similar type homes.
Mhm.
So the grade change results in an adjustment of 36.4 and an abatement of 448.45.
I'm fine with that.
I'm fine.
R8, basically changing it from average to fair, in the kitchen from average to fair. Results in an adjustment of 48.2 and an abatement of 593.82.
I'm fine with that.
Good.
This next one, R9, they had applied last year. We made some corrections to the property. They're seeking further relief, and I'm recommending denial.
Fine with that.
I'm good.
Number 10, we're going from very good to average, the kitchen from good to average. And in the initial sketch of the house, whoever sketched it did not compensate for the cathedral ceiling. So basically what happens, the entryway, we make the space for the cathedral ceiling, and that removes any assessment for the second floor. Because without that adjustment, they'd be valued for second floor that doesn't exist.
Mhm.
So there's no second floor?
Over the cathedral portion.
Oh,
So when you walk in the entryway, it's like, okay, stairs on the far end, and it's open right up to the attic area.
I
So when
understand.
you sketch basement, first floor, second floor.
Yeah.
Drawing that square allows us to remove that second floor area.
Mhm.
That's fine.
Mhm.
And with the other adjustments, it reduces the value by 141.7 and grants an abatement of 1745.74.
Mhm.
A little on the high side, but again, we're going from very good to average.
Yeah.
R11. The house is going from good to average, and the kitchen from good to average. Results in an adjustment of 53.6 and an abatement of 660.35.
That's fine.
P number 2, they were out of business and did not tell us in a timely manner. They justified them being out of business before fiscal year 2022. Full abatement, total value is $82.90 and an abated amount of $197.05.
That's fine.
Good.
R11. R11, is this one the one they have in front of me? Yeah, R11 failed to respond to multiple requests for an inspection. I'll give them until the deemed denied date to do so, at which time, if they fail to respond, they'll just receive an automatic letter indicating a deemed denial. Does not require a vote of the board.
Okay.
And the status of the, I assume it's the resident, the deceased status. I see the note there. in the
Yeah,
column.
it's just the husband had passed away, but we have an abatement application and, we want to get out and like we do all of them, see the house.
Mhm.
Right.
And, the condition may be too high or I might be
Yeah.
missing something. So, but they have not responded. We'll continue to reach out. And hopefully I'll get there before the deemed denied date.
Right.
And
Toll it though? I would think it would toll it to some degree, wouldn't it, Victor?
what was that?
Is there any tolling for that? If for the reply? I just,
No,
I hate to
basically,
see the window closed, that's all I'm saying.
yeah, I mean, I left multiple telephone messages. We'll follow up by the end of the week with a letter. Hey, we really want to try to help. You took the time to file. We want to take the
Yep.
time to follow through. That's typically what I do.
Okay.
I'm fine with that.
R12. Kitchen and bath were in very good condition. We knocked those down to average. Results in an adjustment of 63.6 and an abatement of 783.55.
Fine with that.
I'm good.
R13, this property became tax exempt charitable before July 1st in the purchase, and as required by law, we have to treat it as such. So we're abating the full value of the property, 772.4, results in an abatement of 95.15.97.
Just a point of inquiry on that one, Victor, like, that's a residential I'm pretty familiar with that area. It's a pretty residential area,
Yep,
right?
it's a residential home. I have no idea what their intended use is,
Yeah.
but
They
by
filed
fact,
a report, so it is what it is.
yeah, and the way we stay on top of it, every year they're required to file a formal list with us indicating that they are a charitable tax exempt. If
Mhm.
their status does change, so does the taxation of the property.
Right. All right, thank you.
I'm fine.
I'm fine with that.
R14. First off, I love this house. I've always loved this house. I visited it about 10 years ago.
It is
Fell in
Wickerly.
love with it. I had made some changes 10 years ago, but as things get older, much like myself, they tend to become a bit dated. So my recommendations are changing the house from good to average, kitchens and bath from very good to average, and the finished basement area down to average. Results in an adjustment of 156.4 and an abatement of 1926.85.
I'm fine.
Have I said I love this house? Number 15. A 3-family, basically changing the condition after I took a peek at it from average to good to fair to average. Results in an adjustment of 57.6 and an abatement of 709.63.
I'm good.
They stayed. P3. Okay, we're picking up this specific personal property to another business that's registered at the property. So we're recommending a full abatement of 21,260 on this, and it results in an abatement of 505.35.
I'm good.
C2, this one recommending denial. And this is the hotel portion of 595 North Ave.
I'm good.
R16, changing the condition very good to average. Results in an adjustment of 64.8 and an abatement of 798.34. Next one, number 17. The comparables they supplied weren't truly comparable. Took a peek at the house and not enough there to, compared to sales and other properties, recommending denial. It's pretty easy when you submit smaller homes and say, oh, gee, my house should be valued like them. Well, they're smaller.
Yes. Agreed.
Yeah.
R18, two-family changing the condition from average to fair. Results in an adjustment of 76.8 and an abatement of 946.18.
I'm good.
R19, took a look at the property, inspected the property, changing the grade from B to B minus. There's a smattering in that neighborhood where some of the houses are B, some are B minus. But the property valuation was just, I go either way on this. It just seemed, okay, let's see if there's something there. Let me look at a B minus. It resulted in an adjustment of 24.8 and an abatement of 305.54.
I'm fine with that.
Personal property number 4. Property never really got off the ground. The assessed value was $56.60, recommending a full abatement, and that's $134.54.
I wonder if that name has been franchised.
Well, don't set me up like that. This meeting is being recorded. R20. Love this. The opinion was way too high in bold block letters, more like a hostage negotiation. But basically an inspection, changed the condition from good to average and the condition to average. And the reduction in value is 41,000, and the abated value is the abated tax amount is 505.12.
I'm good.
Fine.
R21. This is a denial.
I am familiar with this home. They've been here before.
Okay. Yeah, I think I have a master spreadsheet and I cut out pieces that, to fill you folks in. Let's see what I have on the master for this one.
This is a brick home.
Yeah, I'm recommending denial per a previous filer. So we had done something a few years ago. If you filed before and we made adjustments and they're still in there, I'm not gonna come out and see it again for the same issues that we already compensated for.
Right.
Okay.
That's fine.
I'm fine.
Number 22. Kitchen and bath condition good to average. This one here, the house was done over a bit, but we hit them too high for the effective year built. So what we do is if someone does their house over soup to nuts, adds a second floor, whatever, that adds value. If we just make those changes, it doesn't create enough value for what the house should, be for on the market. So we changed that based on the work that was done in the house by changing basically the year built to the house, which renders a new depreciation cycle. At 2016, depreciation cycle just wasn't enough. So I reviewed sales of similar type properties, and based on, inspecting similar type properties, a slight adjustment, was warranted for that. And basically, it reduces the value by $40,300 and an abatement of $496.50.
A little unorthodox, but I'm fine with it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, okay, let me take a peek. How would it look at this? I
Yeah.
mean, it's not an amazing spectacle of a home, the house did sell. And they were shocked with the increase in value. And we had an entertaining back and forth via email and phone calls. And they were reluctant to let me in. I said, my job is to make sure your house is right. So going through the MLS listing, I probably hit them too high because there were permits. Now it's all coming back to me. Permits for like $15,000. It was like, they did the whole freaking house over. And this house photographed beautifully, and that's where I nailed them with the effective year built. Then I go into it, like a picture's worth 1,000 words. A picture can also be worth, 200 lies out of that 1,000 words.
Mhm.
So I lowered the effective year built to have it come in more in line with where a majority of the sales came in for the assessment to sales ratio.
That's fine.
I'm fine.
Number 23, kitchen and bath, good to average. The condition, good to average. And I changed the finished attic space because when you have like an attic that's finished, it'll, unless you make an adjustment, it'll say 100% of the attic's finished. Well, there was about 30% of the attic that was eaves. So you have to deduct that as not finished area.
Okay.
So that's what that adjustment is.
Right.
And that resulted in a reduction of value of 86.7 and an abatement of 1,068.14.
Those must be big eaves.
Well, no, that was part of the adjustment. Everything was like the average. Well, yeah, you get 2-3 bodies up there, if you know what I mean.
I'm fine with that, Victor.
I am too.
R24. This is like another little, I wouldn't even call it a house, on a lot. And it's more akin to like a camp kind of deal. So basically I reduced the condition for, reduced the grade from C to D. A land adjustment because the land is just so small and wildly shaped. And it really has no value to the abutter that owns it. It is really, it's nothing. It's a camp. But I changed the value from 360,600 to 272,400. It results in an adjustment of 88.2 and an abatement of 1,086.62.
Victor, years ago, I used to work for this man,
Yeah,
Department of Unemployment Assistance, and when he did file applications for abatement back then, I would recuse myself. This man has since retired from the Department of Unemployment Assistance, and I work for the Mass Higher Department of Career Services these days. So I think that I'm free to vote on that without a conflict of interest.
I would
really
agree.
appreciate you stating the fact of a prior conflict. It's appreciated.
Yes.
With that being said, I'm in agreement for the adjustment.
I would be too. Yes.
Great. Number 25. Yeah, this house with this reval cycle crept up there to just, it plateaued at just over $1 million. And I'm like, okay, they filed, and I'm like, right, that's not, we're too high. And I went into the house, and again, it was one of those remodels. You take a guess, you try to come in right. And the effective year built we had too high, and we had to do that. And two ways you can attack a remodel of a house. You can hit the effective year built if you think it's a complete remodel, or as I went out there, it wasn't a complete remodel, so we backed out the effective year built and changed it to good. So you know, we're lowering the value, but we're calling it a more better description of what's there. And it resulted in an adjustment of 1096, abatement of 1350.27, and a final assessment just under 900,000, where that property should be in that neighborhood.
Fine.
Number 26. Yeah. This house was not in great shape.
House needs everything.
And you know what? He wasn't lying. Was not lying.
Wasn't 6 pages, but it hit the spot, right?
Exactly. You're like, okay, all right. Let's see how this guy's lying. Oh, you're not. Made some changes, reduced the value by 52.3, and an abatement of 644.34.
I'm
If
fine
that
with that.
doesn't fix the house, then God bless you.
I'm fine with that too, Victor.
C3 and C4, recommending denial on both for obvious reasons.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
Agreed.
This one, C5. This is the property right before you get to Reading. You take a right like you're going into, you know, around to the beach area and through Quantapowhat.
Mm-hmm.
It's the parcel on the left, the big grassy field. We had them assessed for just under 2.3. Every once in a while, the owner calls me. They may have a sale or something like that pending. They request an abatement down to the sale price they talk about, which is $2 million. God, this guy, while we're not on each other's, you know, Christmas gift list, they do call every time they have a bite and to see what the town will do to try to help stimulate development. But, you know, I gotta say, in the past 8 years, they've had at least 3 people walk away from a PNS.
Mm-hmm.
There's wetland issues back there, and this request is not egregious in the slightest, and I'm, you know, absolutely fine with recommending an abatement down to $2 million. Results in an adjustment of 266.9 and an abatement of 6344.21.
I would be fine with that.
That's fine.
C6, denial. Nursing home, fellow applies all the time.
Mm-hmm.
C7. This one, half the use is a daycare. And for some reason, I cannot make the class code for half commercial, half residential work on this building. And every year they have to file for a manual correction. So it's not a reduction in value, it's a reduction in tax obligation. So half the building value is taxed at the commercial rate.
Mm-hmm.
The other half is taxed at the residential rate. And the difference in that is $9,002 even. Next one, C8. Actually, the next 1, 2, 3, 4. All denials. If I don't have enough to act on a commercial application or enough to, you know, engage in dialogue with the property owner or their representative, it's a denial. So, this property was misclassified for business personal property. They're exempt. The value is $10,900, recommending a full abatement, which results in an abatement of $259.09.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. These folks, we were a little aggressive. We hit them before they started operating after the January 1st deadline. So we have to abate it this year and we'll pick it up for fiscal 23. The value is $65,780 and the abatement amount is $1563.59. R27, the kitchen and bath good to average, change the finished basement area and add a 5% land adjustment for wetlands.
Mhm.
Basically reducing the value by 48.5 and an abatement tax amount of 597.52.
I'm fine with that.
Okay, maybe it will play more softly.
No. Did I say Siri? How did she open up? R28 had them file because there was a house fire. Basically, the building is unusable. What we do is something like this: we abate the building value based on the date of the fire, and we prorate it. So this one, we're abating the full building value. The fire happened prior to July 1st of last year, which would be our date of assessment. So we're removing the entire building value from the property, and it results in an abatement of 2683.30. Now, we make that back as they reconstruct the property.
Yes. Mhm.
So when they have construction going on, we have the permits, we're out there taking a peek and bring it back online as soon as it's built.
Sounds good. I'm for that.
Number 29. This is the other person that has not responded to my request. And again, like the one with the deemed denied route, we'll do the same with them.
Mhm.
Number 30. Okay. Someone in my office, could be me, or someone else, fat fingered a building permit a few years ago. And it hit the wrong house number and added a finished basement with a kitchen.
Oh,
Okay. Fella comes in, he goes, "Did you mean to put it on the other property?" And I said, "Okay, we look. Oh yeah, all right." Fat fingered it. So we put it on the other property. And while we're not allowed to issue abatements for prior years, what have you, this was clearly our error. And we went out, we looked at the house, and I figured out what the total amount of that error was in value over the years. And that's the abatement I'm recommending. It would be a total amount of $1891.12. I mean,
I'm fine with that, Victor.
okay.
okay. Could you explain the 983 reduction and how that's going to be going forward?
The property value is going to be 983 because
Oh, I'm sorry.
removing what we did
Okay.
resulted in an updated value.
Mhm.
And then I basically went through the historical record before any other reval adjustments, added those values and breaks together and come up with that adjustment.
I'm fine with that.
The next, what do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next 6 are all commercial, recommending denial on all.
Yeah, I'm fine with that for the reasons. Yeah.
I'm fine with it too.
The RXXX number, sorry about that. There's a fire for property on 2/23/21, and same as the other one, we are recommending an adjustment of $2,429.44, basically removing the building portion of that property for this fiscal year, and then we again, make it up as they begin reconstruction.
Right. That's fine.
Okay.
Let's see, C17. Denial. C18, deny. C19, deny. I love these storage places. They have big money sales on them.
Mhm.
Sales might not be arm's length, but I'm capturing some of that value. And they come in and file. It's like, wait a second, explain to me the sale price. So they file, I deny, and they haven't gone to court with me over them yet. So I must be doing something right.
I would agree.
And the last one, R32, no, a lot of fires. No, fire abatement. These just happen to fall within the time frame for the board to hear them. But basically, if it happens during any other time of the year, this is what we do. It's prorated from the date,
Yep.
and it's standard operating procedure because we have no right to deny them. If this occurred, this is what we have to do. It's not automatic. You have to see us first.
Right.
To ensure we-
That's fine.
I'm
So
fine with
again,
that.
this one, yeah, we had the value at 918.3. They had a fire several years ago. We didn't know about it. And the property is for sale, unrepaired at 550. So I'm like, oh, I'm not sitting home on a scanner. I'm not getting regular reports. It's incumbent upon, the homeowner to come to me. They were looking for several years of tax relief. Sorry,
Right.
kid, it doesn't work that way.
It's incumbent on them.
Exactly.
Mhm.
But this one here, we're abating it down to what the listed sale price is for the property. And it's results in an abatement of $4,537.46.
I'm fine.
Okay. Let's see. For old business, that concludes all our abatement applications fiscal year 22. For old business, we sent around meeting minutes. Let's start with February 24th, 2021. I trust you've had time to read and digest. If there's no questions, you can make a motion to, accept, approve as written.
I'd make
I'll
that
make that
motion.
motion. I'll second it then. All those in favor? Aye.
And the other set of minutes for June 21st, 21. Same deal.
I'll make a motion to accept.
Second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen. There's no other really old business to discuss. Not a lot of action with the appellate tax board. That stuff will heat up after we, issue these denials and stuff out there, and those people have a few months to decide. So that's when we take a look at those. I have nothing coming up in the docket. Anyone have anything under old business?
No?
Nothing under old business, Victor, but I would like to, probably put this on the minds of the board members going forward relative to the senior exemption.
Yeah.
Yana worked on. I know that maybe you had mentioned in passing that this could be increased beyond and above 100%. And what are your thoughts? What are your feelings on that? Given, we've got an inflation rate of like 8%, even going higher, and there's going to be a lot of struggling and burden put on, senior citizens relative to that. And I'm already thinking maybe we should think about increasing it.
That's a great point, Dave.
this year.
That's a great point.
Well, excellent point and very timely. As you may be aware, Governor Baker is on his way out, and one of his final acts in his tax relief package was to double the senior circuit breaker income tax amount.
Wonderful.
Well, this poses kind of an issue for innovators such as Wakefield and Reading, who kind of created this. So if they were to double it, you're looking at basically 100% reimbursement that could total about $2,400 off a tax bill.
Mhm.
It's funny, in December, when I testified before the Joint Committee on Taxation to have a bill that Representative Lipa Garabedian and Senator Lewis filed. It's basically what we want. I also tried to reach out to the governor's office to say, hey, you want with senior tax relief, get this bill out of committee. This is a way that, 90% of the communities in the Commonwealth can give tax relief. Didn't hear back, and then the governor's proposal comes out, and I'm like, okay, what does this do to all these home rule petitions? It is at the forefront of my thoughts in moving forward. Right now, we are locked into our home rule petition. So even if the governor's budget takes effect later this year with that recommendation, it will still be granted at the rate they're receiving this year, which I believe is going to be a 1170 or 1180. I could be wrong on that number. I'm not sure, but right around there.
Mhm.
So it's more of an issue where we redraft the home rule petition that ostensibly for such a wonderful program will be approved at fall town meeting. So by fall town meeting, we'll have some answers as to what's done with the governor's budget.
Mhm.
If it's something like 2,400 off, my recommendation would be keep it at 100%,
Mhm.
because the issue of too much tax relief comes into
Correct.
play. I need to see what other aspects of the circuit breaker the governor may have changed as well. Because if it's a 10% threshold, well, then we give tax relief more than like $2,000, $2,400. The next year, more folks won't qualify for tax relief.
Mhm.
They won't qualify for the circuit breaker. I would urge the governor to think about dropping that down to say 8% or 7% of income, versus the 10. You get out more people out that way.
Mhm.
But when I say I'm all over this, I'm all over this. This is
Right.
something we started, and when I'm gone from here, hopefully many years from now, it's going to be a legacy thing. So that's why I
Good.
want this beautifully approved by the state,
Mhm.
and I want it running beautifully across the Commonwealth.
Thank you for that update. I'm glad
Sure.
it's on the agenda. Yes.
Yeah.
Sure. With departmental updates, nothing major. It's the three of us. Kirsten and Scott continue to knock it out of the park for us.
Yep.
And just thankful to have them by my side. The best
You've got a
coworkers.
great team.
Yeah.
Yep.
Other than that, I've been doing sales review.
Mhm.
Once these are all completed, we'll get out there and take a look at any outliers and start looking at our statistical analysis. And you'll be getting some the usual spreadsheet from me with my first pass, second pass, and leading up to my final pass. And we'll meet again and talk about that stuff.
Sounds good.
Does anyone have anything else? No, by the way, Dave, you'll be by in a bit. Stop by the end of the week if you can and sign some crap.
We will.
Nice.
All right.
All right, gentlemen. Move to adjourn then if there's no any additional business.
So moved.
Great.
Great.
All those in favor?
Good to see you.